Hello Plus Squad members, and welcome back to Anime Plus Recaps. Oh wait, you aren't a Plus Squad member? Just subscribe to become one and help this person generating videos from his mom's basement. Today we are recapping one of the well-known 12-episode show, Erased. Spoilers ahead. In the year 2006, Satoru Fujinuma is a 29-year-old manga artist who occasionally experiences a phenomenon known as revival, in which he is sporadically sent back in time by a few seconds, allowing him to perform life-saving feats. He uses this to save a boy from a runaway truck whose driver had died from a heart attack, though becomes hospitalized for a few days as a result. As his co-worker, Eri Katagiri, praises Satoru for his life-saving efforts, Satoru is visited by his mother, Sachiko, who reminds him of an incident 18 years ago in which an adult named Jun Shiratori, who Satoru had trusted, was arrested for the kidnapping and murder of some of his classmates. The next day, as Satoru experiences another revival phenomenon, Sachiko takes note of a man who seemed to be trying to kidnap a child. Looking into the matter, Sachiko deduces that the man was the true killer, but before she can inform Satoru, she is killed in Satoru's home. Just as Satoru discovers Sachiko's body and is accused of killing her, his revival sends him all the way back to 1988, when he was still an 11-year-old elementary school student. As Satoru becomes bewildered with the situation he's been put in, he finds comfort in being able to see his mother again. Realizing being sent to this period by revival is connected to Sachiko's future murder, Satoru takes notice of Kaio Hanazuki, one of his classmates, who was killed during the kidnapping incident, noticing a bruise on her leg. Upon the suggestion of his friend Kenya Kobayashi, Satoru reads an essay written by Kaio, which further hints at her troubled life at home. Wanting to understand Kaio more, Satoru decides to invite her to his birthday party, hoping to change the future so that she won't be killed. During an ice skating race against a classmate, Satoru holds back from winning to avoid inadvertently trying to change the future, angering the classmate and disappointing Kaio. After learning that Kaio's birthday is on the same day as his, giving him a rough idea of the date of her disappearance, Satoru spends some time with Jun, still convinced that he is not the kidnapper. Afterwards, Satoru finds Kaio beaten up in her home shed, learning of the full nature of her abusive relationship with her mother, Akemi. The next day, Satoru speaks with his teacher, Gaku Yashiro, who explains how he has suspected Akemi of abuse for almost a year, but hasn't been able to find proof to convict her. Later, Satoru stands up for Kaio when she is accused to stealing lunch money, before taking her up a mountain to show her a frost-laden Christmas tree. With help from Sachiko, Satoru manages to invite Kaio out with her to the local science center. During the outing, Satoru feels a sense of déjà vu, becoming worried that he's repeating the same things. After March 1st, the day Kaio originally disappeared, passed without incident, both Satoru and Kaio are able to celebrate their birthday the next day, with Satoru confident he has managed to change history. The day afterwards, however, Satoru is shocked to find Kaio hasn't come to school. As Satoru becomes angry that he wasn't able to make a difference about Kaio's disappearance, another schoolgirl goes missing several days later. After witnessing Akemi throw out Kaio's belongings, Satoru suddenly finds himself back in 2006, still under suspicion of Sachiko's murder and forced to go on the run from the police. Satoru soon comes across Eri, who believes him to be innocent and lets him stay at her house, where he learns the details of Kaio's disappearance did change slightly because of his actions. The next day, as Satoru investigates as much as he can, Eri stops her manager from reporting Satoru to the police. Later that night, after helping Satoru hide elsewhere, Eri receives a text from Sachiko's phone before becoming trapped in a house fire. Coming across the burning house, Satoru rushes in to rescue Eri, who slits her phone into his pocket before the manager takes over the rescue. Finding the message left on Eri's phone, Satoru calls a number that Sachiko had left behind, arranging a meeting with an acquaintance of hers named Sawada. Sawada tells Satoru about the last phone call he received from Sachiko, in which she claimed to know who the true kidnapper was but was unable to tell him before she was killed. He also explains the reported details surrounding Kaio's death, noticing Jun's framing matches with another kidnapping incident in a nearby town and deducing the true kidnapper was the one who killed Sachiko. While Satoru looks up Sawada's findings on the kidnapping incident, including a list of previous suspects, Sawada goes to the hospital to meet up with Eri, only to discover that her mother has swapped places with her so she can prove Satoru's innocence. Eri meets up with Satoru, informing him of a mysterious man named Nishizumi who may have been responsible for the fire, but police show up to arrest Satoru. As he is taken away, Satoru spots the man he saw leaving his house on the night of Sachiko's murder. Determined not to let things end the way it is, Satoru successfully triggers his revival through sheer willpower, returning him to February 28, 1988. During school the next day, Kenya confronts Satoru about Keio's situation at home, admitting that he's known for a while now about the domestic violence and offers his assistance. Following the birthday party on March 2nd, Satoru throws a rock through Jun's window to bring about the police, providing him with an alibi for his whereabouts. Afterwards, Satoru seeks out Akemi and comes close to pushing her down some stairs, but is stopped by Kenya, who convinces him to choose a different course of action. Instead, Satoru decides to abduct Keio with her permission, taking her to an abandoned bus to hide out for a few days until she is confirmed to be safe. On the night of March 3rd, however, an unknown character enters the bus while Keio is sleeping. Keio barely manages to hide from the intruder before he takes his leave, leaving behind a footprint on a box he kicked. The next evening, as Yashiro goes with some people from the Child Consultation Center to investigate Keio's house, Keio tells Satoru and the others about the previous night's intruder. Looking into a rucksack that was left behind, they find tools that Satoru recognizes as the ones used to implicate Jun for Keio's murder, as well as a briquette presumed to belong to the killer. Realizing he is still stuck in the loop of abduction murders, Satoru takes Keio to spend the night at his house, where Sachiko had been expecting them. The next day, Satoru and Sachiko accompany Keio back to her house to confront Akemi. As Akemi reacts violently to the accusations of Satoru and Sachiko, she is caught red-handed by Yashiro and the consultants, who suggest that Keio be taken into custody. Just as Akemi prepares to storm off to the police, she is approached by her own mother, who regrets not being able to support her after having her divorce her abusive husband and raise Keio on her own, leading Akemi to limit her own actions. With Keio going off to live with her grandmother, Satoru turns his attention towards the other two potential victims, Hiromi Sugita, his classmate, and Aya Nakanishi, a student from the neighboring school. While keeping a watch on both Hiromi and Aya, Satoru is given a ride home by Yashiro, discovering a stash of candy in his car. "Damn you sussy bitch." Later, Satoru goes with Kenya and Hiromi to inspect the bus, the contents of which have now been removed, and tells them about the serial killer that was targeting Keio. Satoru and his friends approach Aya, who, despite some initial resistance, starts joining them at their hideout. Later, Satoru starts to keep an eye on Misato Yanagihara, who has been by herself since being accused of framing Keio, who seemingly disappears after going to the bathroom. Noticing a truck belonging to Jun's family leaving the scene, Satoru goes with Yashiro to chase after it, only to discover that Yashiro himself is the killer, who had used Misato to lure him into a trap. Realizing that Satoru was the one thwarting his plans, Yashiro traps him in his car, which he sends into a frozen lake. Satoru wakes up in the year 2003, having been in a coma for 15 years following Yashiro's attempt to kill him, and discovers that he has lost most of his memories, including the killer's identity. While undergoing rehab, Satoru is visited by his Kenya and Hiromi, as well as Keio, who has grown up to become a housewife with a child. Those are the tears of falling into whatever zone that can apply to this man who went back in time to save his long-lost love. Not friend-zoned at least. Later, he meets a leukemia patient named Kumi, who is to undergo surgery, as well as Yashiro himself, who has become a politician. 2 days before Kumi's surgery, Yashiro brings Satoru to the rooftop, where Satoru reveals that he has regained his memories. Having regained his memories after talking with Keio, Satoru tells Kenya and Hiromi what he knows before confronting Yashiro, boasting that his past crimes have already passed the statute of limitations. Yashiro reveals he has arranged to kill Kumi with a sabotaged IV drip and frame Satoru, plotting to murder him to look like suicide. However, Satoru calls Yashiro's bluff, stating that he can't live without him, which is proved when Yashiro stops him from jumping off the roof. Realizing this to be true and letting Satoru drop, Yashiro prepares to commit suicide himself, only to discover that Satoru has been safely caught by his friends, after which Yashiro is finally arrested. Several years later, Satoru becomes a manga artist and he meets Eri by chance or miracle once more. and the show ends here. What recap you want us to do next? Make sure to subscribe and let us know in the comments.